right? What did you see from the #1 overall pick?
The guy's a guy.
He was so good.
Cam Ward, he sees it and throws it. This team would have beaten the Broncos in Denver if not for like 8 drops. I mean, they had 4 drops in the 4th quarter. And so I think if you're the Titans, you're sitting there going, our quarterback sees it. He's fearless. He's confident with his arm. They just got to get those guys around him to catch it a little bit more consistently and get used to that ball. Is when you turn your head looking for it, it's out of his hand coming your way.
Yeah, they host the Rams on Sunday. All right.
Yeah, they host the Rams on Sunday. All right, let's go. Yeah, no, let's stay with the Tennessee Titans. I was really impressed with Cam Ward for multiple reasons. I mean, there was moments where he looked like a legitimate veteran. When he, there was the one play where he was like and this is a key moment in this game, he's adjusting protections. He's completely controlling the line of scrimmage. And he then throws an absolute beautiful pass that surprise is dropped. And you're just like, oh my gosh, like what's going here? What's going on here? And the thing is, and I actually said this in a previous video, where I was talking about the Broncos defense, and I said, Cam Ward was uncomfortable all game, and someone kind of took issue. They're like, I want to say that Cam Ward was uncomfortable. He looked really poised and blah, blah. And what I was saying was that he looked uncomfortable from a football perspective, as in like he was being pressured nonstop and there was like nowhere to ever go. Receivers are dropping the ball. From a football perspective, he was uncomfortable. From an emotional, mental perspective, completely comfortable and completely resilient. In fact, it was the first notes that I took. Cam Ward, comfortable. Right from a football perspective, all the pressure that he was dealing with and everything else. And again, when I'm saying pressure, I don't mean outside pressure. I mean football pressure. The Broncos were making him uncomfortable from the jump. I thought there was questionable play calling at times. So I don't think that the coaching staff was helping him out. I mean, at first it was kind of like, okay, I like this. They're running the ball unapologetically. They're making things easy. Tony Pard, right? You're having some success there. You're not trying to outsmart anyone. And then things started to get a little bit weird. It seems like the guy had a good game plan going into it, but then the actual play calling throughout the game was just kind of like, what exactly are we doing here? They had 13 penalties. I mean, my gosh, man, this is what I said all last year. When you're talking about with rookie quarterbacks and backup quarterbacks, because we had a handful of backup quarterbacks playing like Malik Willis and whatnot. And obviously we had a whole sea of rookie quarterbacks, Caleb, Jaden, Bo Nix. And there was just many moments throughout all of these games with the backups and the rookies that you could see when a team was helping their quarterback and when they were hurting his quarterback. And what I really mean by that is it's like you have a young quarterback or backup quarterback, you got to make the plays. You got to make the plays because you got to leave room for your rookie quarterback to not be perfect. He's going to be imperfect. He's going to have problems. He's going to take a bad sack. He's going to hold on to the ball for an extra second. So when he does deliver the ball to you, you got to catch the ball. You got to catch the ball. And if you're a coach, you got to be able to find a way to get this guy 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards, 4. Like you got to have a reliable way to be like, all right, it's 2nd and 6 now, right? Not 2nd and 10, 2nd and 12, 3rd and 10. Like you got to be able to make things just the littlest bit easier. You got to help your young quarterback out. But when you're dropping the ball, like this is what we saw with Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers, like you see that those receivers stepping up and making big plays, making big catches. And this is what I saw with the Chicago Bears last year with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had moments when he was really inaccurate, but then he throws a beautifully accurate ball and then it gets dropped. You can't have both things, and you got to leave room for your young quarterback to be really inaccurate at times. But you as a 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year receiver, whatever it may be, tight end, you got to catch the ball. You got to catch the ball, and you got to be able to find your way through it a little bit. Listen, this Denver Broncos defense is a really good defense. So you can't necessarily say like, oh, they should have been able to run the ball more. They should have been able to do this. They should have been able to do that. But like, it was there for them, as Orlovsky talked about, like they could have won this game. Now, to be fair, Bo Nix was also turning the ball over left and right. And so you had a lot of extra possessions and a lot of extra possessions for that defense that had to just endure it all. So like you could kind of come away from this game and saying it was kind of sloppy all around. But I saw Cam Ward and I felt good, actually. I felt comfortable. He definitely moved backwards a little bit more than I would like. Really, Lamar Jackson is really the only quarterback who can reliably just go backwards, right? Who can kind of backpedal and go backwards and find himself out of it. Cam Ward's not that. There's no other, not even Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is a monster. Not Josh Allen can't. Patrick Mahomes can't. Like, you can't consistently backpedal and go backwards. And there were moments that he was doing that, which again, I understand that it was his first ever, game in the NFL. So, and he was going up against a great defense on the road in Denver, tough environment to play. So it's understandable, honestly. But I mean, yeah, there was opportunities there that they just weren't able to capitalize, right? Like taking the sack and now getting out of field goal range and whatnot. And so you want to see that cleaned up. You would have liked to see a little bit smoother of a week one game. I think this was a tougher matchup when we look at some of these other younger quarterbacks who had to go up against teams that maybe weren't as good. It's a little bit easier for them to kind of be a little rough around the edges and still be like, oh, that was a pretty good game. Yeah, he took a lot of sacks and he did have that one interception, but all in all, like, it was a pretty good game because of how this game unfolded and mainly because of the drops. You do have to look a little bit harder to find that. And so that's why I'm glad Dan Orlovsky was really on this and was just talking about like, hey man, like, he actually played really well. And it's funny to say that for someone who has a box score of 12 for 28, 112 yards, and like, what did he have? Like 6 sacks. I don't know if I wrote down the number of sacks right now. But he had a ton of sacks, obviously, and his completion percentage was obviously awful, but you can't blame him for that. That's why you got to actually watch the game. But I mean, he was pressured 18 times for 6 sacks. Now, the problem is, because you're going to get a lot of pressures as a young quarterback, that they're going to come after you. That's what you do with young quarterbacks. You say defensive coaches are like, we don't think you know how to make decisions at an NFL level yet. We are just going to get after you. Now, here's the thing, that experiencing that pressure is going to be difficult. But what is more in his control here is his pressure to sack percentage. It was very high. So when the pressure did get to him, he was taking sacks. And it was more than just the mobility, right? It's more than that. Sometimes it's decision M, throwing the ball away, but it's also coaching. I talk about this a lot. The first time when I first see someone having a bad pressure to sack percentage, I immediately am like, what answers are the coaches giving the quarterback? What outs are they giving him? What are the solutions to this problem, right? It's not always like, oh, you pressure and it's on you. You got to just roll out and run around in circles and avoid and then throw the ball. Like, that's not the answer. That's not the reliable answer at all. So you want to see that improve, because the amount of pressures he's going to face is going to be a lot. So like, he's going to be experiencing a ton of, I mean, right now, 18 pressures at that pace would be through the roof for an entire season, just through the roof. Well, at the top of the NFL when compared to last year, in terms of, what the bottom line total for dropbacks with pressure for quarterbacks. So that's always going to be there. So this coaching staff needs to do a better job of, you're going to have a lot of pressure throughout this season. We got to find you easy outs. We got to find you easier solutions. So that's something that I want to look for. I mean, I guess he was never able to successfully scramble. I mean, I watched this game, but it's just like I don't ever really necessarily take note of scrambles necessarily. So, I guess that's true. I mean, that is pretty interesting to be pressured that many times and to not scramble once. Interesting. But look at this. See this number right here? 2. You know what number this was? They had 2 rushing first downs. 2 rushing first downs. You are going to make your life for your quarterback, for your rookie quarterback, absolutely miserable. And it's not like they were down by 30, so of course you can't run the ball. 2 rushing first downs is absolutely, if you have 2 rushing first downs and you get 131 yards of penalties. The fact that this game was even remotely winnable and 1 million drops is actually pretty stunning. It really is. It's pretty stunning. But when you factor in the fact that the other team had 4 turnovers and you were only able to get 12 points, it's like, all right, now it makes sense. And you were 2 for 14 on 3rd down. So it becomes tough. It becomes really, really tough. So they didn't do anything to ever really make this easier for Cam Ward. And the fact that, again, he definitely took the sacks, but the fact that it wasn't a meltdown or that he was still stepping up and making some really nice throws, that was really, I thought that was really impressive. But this is my other problem. 11.5. That was his average depth of target. This is a rookie quarterback in his first ever NFL game, and you got him throwing deeper passes than Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Like, in what world should Cam Ward be number 1 in average depth of target, and yet remarkably 0 turnover worthy plays? That's really impressive. That's really, really impressive. Baker Mayfield had 4 turnover-worthy plays. So you got to have a better game plan. You got to help out your quarterback here. You got to help out your quarterback. I mean, again, he's having a deeper average depth of target than Justin Herbert. I mean, Matthew Stafford, who's got, Puka Nacua. That just should not be. That should not be. To put this into context, Bo Nix rookie year, Jaden Daniels rookie year, 7.8, 7.9 average depth of target. Their first ever game, both their first ever games, week 1, Jaden Daniels 5.5 yards for average depth of target. Bo Nix 6, and yet Cam Ward's first game ever was essentially double that. That's a problem. One had good coaching behind him that knew, who understood an appropriate game plan. The other one did not. And what's also really interesting is that Caleb Williams, who did not have a great day when his first ever game played, was 7.7. So beyond that of Jaden and Bo, and surprise, surprise, Caleb didn't look too good. He did not in that game. They just got to do more here to support him. And I think if they do a better job of supporting him, you're just going to get a lot of synergy here. But he's a rookie. There's only so much that he can overcome. You have to make his life easier. You have to make his life easier. Say it with me one more time. You have to make his life easier. You do that, you can win some games. You made his life as hard as you possibly could, and yet you still almost won this game. Pretty interesting. Can you imagine if they help and support him a little bit more? Might surprise some people, but those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Cam Ward's debut against the Denver Broncos, Tennessee Titans? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.